Bump Love is brought to you by
Unlimited internet at unbeatable prices. Dial *125# to activate your monthly unlimited internet. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
We all know that considering a life partner, baby daddy, baby mama is something you don't take lightly. You need to put a lot of consideration to it. So we thought, why not have this conversation? Yeah, ladies, right? So I need us to discuss today what conversations are important to have before choosing a life partner.
I think that before anything else, the first and most important conversation to have is one with yourself.
Yes, I agree.
And different things. Mine were mainly three. The first one being, is this actually what you want?
Yeah.
Or have you been conditioned by society to believe that marriage and having children is a gateway to a fulfilled life? Because dictated again by the natural progression of events, you finish school, you get a job, then you get married and you have babies. So are you just ticking a box because that is what you have been taught, that's all that you know, that's just what it's supposed to be? Is that why you're getting married or having children? Number two, is the person you're getting married to the right person for you? Or have you been convinced by the old wives that all men are bad and relationships are hard work? So now there you are choosing somebody or settling for somebody who might not be what you really want, but because now you're about the life of, better the devil you know. So let me go with this one. So you're finding yourself now sacrificing, not compromising. Two different things. Number three, is it the right timing? Is the timing right? Should you be getting married now or having children right now? Or are you just worried that about your biological clock, now I need to have children, or as I grow older, it will be harder for me to get a husband? And so personally, I feel that if you are able to full tick, to blue tick, actually, double tick, those three criteria, and you're honest with yourself, I'll tell you my story. Out of three, I was half a tick. And the half a tick was, I had the right person to get married to, but it was not the right one for me. It was not the right time, and my headspace was not about marriage then. So now I have half a tick, but I'm there opening because they proposed to me. Natural progression of things, we go, we move. We'll work on the things in the marriage. Love conquers all. Wow. Woo. But I had no real conversation with myself. And the times I actually did try to have some conversations, I convinced myself otherwise. I found ways to convince myself that no, things will work, things will be okay. So for me, I think the most important conversation to have before you get married or before you have children is an honest conversation with yourself about what you want, if it is really what you want, if it's the right time for it, and if it's the right person for you.
I remember having that conversation.
Great.
I did with myself. But you guys know.
Actually, Manuela is like she's. I love the way you always talk about having a meeting with yourself. In everything that you do, always have meetings with yourself.
And I think it was because mine was that one of God. God has said.
Oh, yeah.
And this one, is it that time? Is it? You understand? And I remember even for Brian, like when he proposed and everything, we went through a thing there. I'm like, and I remember telling him, am I getting married to you because I love you, or is it because you love me? Like, what exactly are we doing? So I agree with you on having that conversation, but please brace yourself. That conversation is not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's not as easy as it might.
That's true.
Okay, so when I think about conversations, first of all, I wanted to say, when you're having these conversations with your spouse to be or fiance or boyfriend or the one that you like, please have them before having sex. My suggestion. Because please, I think you should have them before sex, because I feel like the way sex is,
Sex changes things, like things which you should be seeing that there is a problem. Because he dances you well.
You find yourself compromising on too many things.
You forget that actually he was speaking badly with a waiter. You forget that they are bamubanja because when you are in the bed, the way he mixes you, you forget. So I suggest that these conversations that we are going to have, that's my suggestion. When you are writing your list, ensure that give some break for sex so that you are seeing with your eyes what's going on. If you have started, first give it a break.
On hold. Because some of us of third date, I'm not going to bring up this conversation. On the first night, I've met you today. I first wait, pardon.
First wait.
Now, what about the other thing?
But I suggest that if you've had sex, first put that like from your mind. I don't know how you're going to do it, but honestly, you need to separate sex from this conversation.
Especially because we're emotional.
Yes, because we are very
sex
emotional.
Is more than emotional issue for us.
So please just put it on. Even him, he's like, hey, that chick, she's nice in there. When she asks me, do you have dates? Me? I'm the rich man of the clan. The one who gives money. Right. Yeah. So that's my first disclaimer.
Okay.
So in terms of the conversations, I would say like the first one you need to have is to make sure you have the same view of life.
You
have the same world view. Because the least thing you want to go through is to be in a marriage and you have divergent world views. What do you think about life? What is life? What is life? What is life? In Ecclesiastes, it tells you that what is life? It is but a passing wind. It's a chasing of the wind. Then the other one might be like, Banange life. God gave us life. You need to know where am I in? What do I think about? Just period.
I think are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
I think I totally agree with the two of you, especially on the first conversation, being with yourself. Very, very key. Understand the person that you are. Who am I? And if this is who I am, what do I want? Because before you understand who you are, you will not know what to attract. If you know that you want, if you know you're a happy person, you want to attract a humorous guy, then you will know I want a man. That will give you perspective of who to look for. After understanding who exactly you are, you will know that now I'm a quiet person. I don't need one who will disturb my peace. If you find a cantankerous one, period, you know. So I totally agree with that conversation with yourself. Write down. Wait together before you want to understand the other gender. You know we like understanding the other gender before we understand us. Understand yourself before you understand the other gender. And then you will be able to quickly or easily understand the other gender because you've understood what you like, who you are, and what you like. What you like, what you're looking for. You know who you are and what you're looking for. Then when you get to that conversation with the other gender, guys, before you ask for those dates and before you ask when the guy is going to marry you, ask what the vision is. What's your vision in life? What do you want to be? What's your future like? You get these questions also, because normally we are young girls at this age, especially when you're getting into that life. You're below 30 most times. You're below 30, so you know even the guys are not ready. So check her. You check him. Check one. What do you want? Like what's your plan for the future? And I know that smart guys also ask those questions to the ladies. They're like, what? They want to understand this girl. What is it she likes? Does she just want to have these babies, get married? Does she have a goal? Because there are guys who, and it's okay if a guy if he's looking for just a wife and children, it's okay. She'll be like, oh no, mfunye, I've got And so these things are really key. Have those conversations before you get there and you're disappointed. But for me, it's just a check of what's your future, what are you planning?
Like
what do you want? Yeah. Like what vision do you have? Yeah, for me that.
And how?
And how?
Yeah, because
So-
nothing can tell you the world.
Yeah.
What are the steps you're putting in place?
Exactly.
How are you going to get there?
How are you going to get
How do
there?
you
So if a guy is not serious, you will see him shaking.
At least let him tell
It's
you.
like, akachala akatide kano. Let him not bring his, when are you coming to see me? When should I send transport? And those are the conversations. So when are you next coming? When will you come to my house? That is the conversation they want.
I think one of the things that I thought about, which I find that a lot of women fall victim to, is we have a lot of, so what we call situationships, where a man meets a girl and they are testing the water with no conversation as to what his intentions are towards her. And because we are women and we're emotional, he's saying all the right things, he's treating you right, he's probably even asking to send money to your mom or whatever. So it seems as though you are in a relationship, but dear one.
You are in it alone.
No, you are in it with 3 other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like for me, a very important question, and I feel like this question can actually be forward. What are your intentions towards me? What is this? What are we
I was
doing?
waiting for you to ask that question. What are we doing? What are we?
What are we?
And that you can
What are
ask,
we?
you can
Very
ask
forward.
right
Yeah,
away.
right off the
Even
bat.
before the sex.
Even
3 years with no
especially
sex,
before
what
the-
are we doing?
What are we doing? Getting to know each other.
Are we related?
Could be bad.
Getting to know each other. So yeah, I feel like that's a very important question to ask, and based on your self-evaluation and what you want in life, you can give yourself the time frame to ask that question. So you can say maybe after 2 or 3 dates, I want to know, because I don't want to waste time. So that if you are testing the water, I'm not about that life. So bye, you can go test it with someone else, and by the no hard feelings. But if you want to see where this is leading, and maybe we are building some sort of friendship or some sort of framework, then by all means, let's keep talking.
Yeah. Isn't that why the earlier one, the first conversation was to have with yourself in terms of what do you want? Because if you don't know that right now is your time, right now you're ready, any guy who comes in and is ready to waste your time will indeed waste your time. And you know, you're feeling like, oh my gosh, he's so cool. If I ask him the question, what if he says no? What if I lose him? Well, lose him. You know, because it's not going anywhere. Like, no, maybe if I try so hard, then maybe he will change his mind. Absolutely not. That's why it's important to know what you want. So I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think literally everything that you've spoken about, of course, bearing in mind that if we're being realistic, a lot of the girls and boys today are not waiting that long to have sex. So sex is definitely going to come in the way. So if I were to look at it beyond the different submissions you've given, I would go for something as solid as, let me take you down a rabbit hole. My aunt from Tanzania, she had 5 children. And child after child after child died at the same age. And then, of course, I was already with my person, but I asked myself, why don't we ever check these things? You know, because someone will take you to the top of the hill and tell you, I'll give you this. We're speaking about things, but if we're to look at facts, people need to get tested medically. The way we rush to get HIV tested and hepatitis B, this is something that you can test as soon as possible and know that, you know what, we're going to have sickle cell children and they are going to die. But when you don't, then you find yourself with people you're having more and more children hoping that you just might hit the jackpot. Yet the truth is that together you're creating bombs. So if I were to speak to Asante, after she's done speaking to herself and everything, do those tests, because you know your relationship will shake or be built off situations like this.
And you disregarded HIV, and yet it's a serious one as well.
I'm saying usually when you're going to have sex with somebody, that's what we rush for, hepatitis B, HIV. But nobody is checking all these congenital diseases that come, you know.
I hear you.
Maybe it's not even just only testing, but hearing. Like when they're telling you about their family, and then they start saying things like, who's your uncle? Then they start, so my uncle there, he did like this. Take note, like yafudechi.
If they tell you sickle cells, then you understand they have sickle cells.
There's some sickle cell there, yeah.
True. And they make a decision.
Yeah, have a lot in terms of conversation. I feel like there's so much opportunity to talk, but you don't have, you're not drawing out the truths that are coming out of that conversation. You're not going like, you're not asking questions like when they tell you, for example, oh, our firstborn has no job.
Why? Children still stay at home.
Oh no, yeah, people take long in our family to get married. You need to really. Why? What's there? Okay. Then they tell you, no, my auntie who has taken so long to have a baby. Like draw, like be, this thing, yeah, let your ears be open to the opportunity for conversation. Otherwise,
Even
certain
mental
things,
illness.
Mental illnesses, all things like that, yeah. Like I remember my family was only found out that we had sickle cells in the family when we was so much older and things had happened over time. We have doctors in our family, and when the sicklers were brought to light, the doctors said, no, the science doesn't add up. We don't have sickle cells. Those children, that wife cheated on you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because for you to get a sickler child, you both have to be carriers. Yes. You both have to have the gene. Yes. But now, these doctor people in our family were saying, no, us, we don't have the gene. Yes. So it means your wife cheated on you. And bad, really harsh decisions were made at that time based off that information. Guess where the family learned from that they had sickle cells? From me. I went to see a doctor randomly. I was, you know, the truth is my mom is going to find out anytime anyway. I wanted to leave school. I think I was in S4, I wanted to leave school, and I said I was very sick. I was tired. So my mom comes to pick me up. We go to a doctor, and they check that the girl is okay. Then like, but I see this sickle. He didn't even have to do a test. Like he just said, oh yeah, your eyes, you seem like you have sickle cells in the family. You must be a carrier. My mom's like, no, we're not carriers. No, we don't have sickle cells. Then they told me, no, you just do the test, just a small test. Yes. They found I was a carrier. My mom was like, what? My mom had to go back and tell the whole chica. Everybody did a test. And over 60% of my family are indeed carriers. Yeah, and that's a conversation I had to have with my husband and say I'm a sickle cell carrier. I've buried my cousins over and over and over again in the lifetime of my life. And on both sides, because we have the gene, both my parents are carriers. But 5 of us, none of us got sickle cells. Yeah. So you're not having this conversation sometimes because you might also not know yourself. Yeah. So some of these things, you need to be able to test for them as yourself, because it's reality. It's a living reality.
So what was it like for your potential partner growing up? Because that's a window into traumas, things that your partner needs healing from, weaknesses, habits, the things that you're going to contend with when you do eventually start living with this person. Actually, even before, but more compounded when you start living with this person. And I think one of the biggest marriage relationship killers is our backgrounds and our upbringing. It's so different. It shapes your worldview, for sure. It shapes how you see the world. It shapes how you feel about women. It shapes how you feel about children. It shapes how you feel about poor people. It shapes how you feel about rich people. It shapes so much. And so please keep a keen ear onto your person's upbringing. What was it like when they were growing up? Did they grow up in a single parent household? All those things are indicators.
Did their father beat their mother? And how did that shape you? And you know why I like that conversation? It's not to say that, okay, that his dad beat his mom, so he's going to beat me. It's just a conversation to have that. Because I have they're not friends of mine, but they're a family I know, where the mom used to beat the woman, the wife, and one of the sons grew up so empathetic towards women. And he said, I can never see that happen in my life again. The other son, on the other hand, has beaten every woman that he's been with. Yes, so it's like, okay, this happened in your home, but how did it impact you? Yes. You in particular, the one that I'm with, what do you think about this? And also to be aware that even if he chose a different route, there may be triggers that can bring that back. So just for you to be aware that it happened.
The more differences you had with your person, you saw it like, oh wow, we are so different, but he would do this. Opposites attract. I'm now telling you as a grown-ass woman, marry preferably somebody from your same tribe, same religion, same
Oh my gosh, did you see that meme that was going around? The one of, I have to marry from my same religion because I don't know how to explain to another man that I speak another language that I don't understand. Even I don't understand it. I have to marry from my same tribe because I don't know how to explain to a man that I'm bathing a child in leaves. Like
True. So true. But when you're younger, you're like, we are so different. But he goes out. He doesn't like going out, but he goes out for me.
I remember those ones. I remember those ones.
Endearing in the beginning.
In the beginning, after a while.
Fades away.
True.
I think it's, I don't know, these conversations need people in their most settled element. And sometimes it's so
getting
hard.
married in early 20s.
Yeah, it's not settled element.
In your early 20s. It just does not exist.
No, let me share where I'm coming from. Let me share where I'm coming from. No, let me share.
Not settled.
Let me share. No, you don't know your. No, I think that at age 20, you're at a stage. The stage that you're in life is where you're trying to
understand yourself.
Yeah, some people maybe not, but they're trying to impress. They're trying not to impress. No, that's not the word. They're trying to prove themselves at age 20. Most times at age 20 because you've just come out of school where everybody's telling you exactly what you need to do, what course you should take. Now when you finish, you're the one who's deciding whether you should take your application there, whether that job you're going, what clothes you're going to wear. So you're trying to prove to the world that you can manage. You can manage. Most times the problem, that's why I said I wish we could be settled, is that you're already with that energy of proving yourself. Then you come with this one and you're still living in what you want in the future and not what's happening in your mind while physically you're in the present until you're older. So I wish someone would tell 20-year-olds, please leave your mind, because now you're constantly, I'll get that money, I will. Your mind is constantly in I will, and not I am. So I really wish, because it's such a hard thing. I wish that we would be so settled, so that these conversations, when you tell someone that, let's, sickle cell might be in our family, we'll be fine. By then they'll have found a cure. Right? Like, and you don't know, love has taken over, the emotions have risen, and people are not in a place where they say, okay, there is love, wonderful love, there is sex, wonderful sex, but there is you and I, who are two different people. If me and my brother fight, from the same 9 months, from the same environment, we fight.
True.
Now you, of different apparatus, from different cultures.
We're trying to live in an inclusive world, so we don't really want to come out and say, marry what you know, because what you know is your tribe, your culture, your religion, your social status. We are trying to be more open-minded, but I feel like the more differences you do have as people, the harder it gets.
So true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
When the two were focusing on the 20-year-old, I wanted to defer away because it's like we're focusing on that, and yet there are people re-looking for partners after, you know, the 20 age has failed, and now they've settled, they know better. And I think that is also important to put in perspective. People are looking for new baby daddies because they made mistakes initially. Sex got in the way because normally it gets in the way. You're excited, you're having sex, but now you know better, so you know what to look for, and you don't want to make the same mistakes. That's why normally society will condemn you. They're like, oh my God, now you're on the third, now you're on the fourth, like, didn't you learn from the first? So we have to sit back and, you know, pay attention to ourselves. For me, I'll repeat that. Self. Self. What are you looking for? Do you just want people to know that you're married? Like, she's not single. Oh, by the way, you thought she was single. She has a mate. She got a mate. He proposed. And yet you're the one going to die in that marriage. Many times we want to please society. Many times we are marrying for people. Please consider yourself. Be kind to yourself. Love yourself. Know that you're entering in this salon. People are going to come and, hey, yes, oh my God, she slayed that gown. And then 5 months later,
You're the one.
you're the one crying.
Yeah. You guys have a story. I was speaking to a divorcee, a guy. And he's in his third marriage. And I asked him, I said,
he's married again?
Yeah, he's now in his third marriage. He's had 2 divorces. And so I asked him if there's anything he regrets.
Those are not called divorces anymore.
He's now
He's
married.
So what?
Okay, so he's married.
A widow when you remarry.
Okay, so I say he's married, but he's had 2.
Yeah, he's married, but
He has got you.
We divorced him.
The ones who have but we no longer consider you then.
Okay, go
Well,
on.
to gonna
Let's
samba
go
gaoni.
on with your
Anyway, so so I asked him, do you have any regrets? And he said I shouldn't have divorced my first wife.
Yeah. I know who.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
And I asked him why, what happened, and then he said, there's something I was looking for in he said, my current wife is worse than my first wife. However,
I want to think so.
I have learned
from the.
It's that thing that you talked about where when you've gotten divorced, you act more married. After, like now you
Okay.
So that's what he's going through now after two divorces. It's like my first wife was amazing.
Like we could have.
Yeah, he's only realizing that now. The thing that you realized, yes, he's only just realizing that right now. Yeah. So I think that the thing called marriage and choosing a partner is a very important decision. Yeah. And that's why it's important to be honest with yourself and honest with the person you're talking to, because you don't want to get married to someone who is not their true self. Because life will change. Yeah, life will change, things will change. But you don't want to be in a place where you're living with someone who's not their true self, who's not their authentic self. Yeah. And so for me, this one you can't have a conversation with a person about. But I wish you guys would observe and see if someone is living their authentic self. They might not even know if they are or they are not, but see, look, like now me, I feel that you should be able to see from even the smallest things. I keep saying, well, how does he treat a waiter? You understand? Like when I met Brian was very nice and sweet to waiters. Very nice. I'd be like, I have arrived. He loves people.
Yeah, and that waiter issue, by the way, yeah,
it's very big. Like, he does not like a mumanida. Now, if you are a waiter, he loves you. Just kumanyira him.
That's the end.
That's the end. Yeah, the colors change. And I remember being so confused. I was so confused. I was like, Nehan, why are you so rude? Why are you so rude? Yeah, that's when you want. With that time you are so nice. He's like, you didn't see what he did. You didn't see that. You didn't see that he. And then I was like, but no, when we were dating, he was like, absolutely not. it's like that when you saw me, that waiters then were nice and sweet. But you remember this man who did this to me. Was I kind to him? When he did this way, was I? Me, I was only seeing the good part, but he was able to tell me, please, don't be mistaken. With somebody, when they cross a line, I will come out. Tewari agenda kumanyira. Kasta they cross a certain line, and then he started to remind me, but you mean you forgot the mechanic? You mean you forgotten this chick? And I was like, actually I was there when it was happening. How come I never saw? I used to think he's just happy-go-lucky. Like when he comes, he's like, wow, the world is good. Until you cross a line. And when I keep, you have to see them in both. And somebody has to be in a place where they're honest and truthful with you, and they can be authentic, and you can find out what exactly is going on. For him to explain to me, the customer neither. I'm not going to allow it. You know, when someone is honest and truthful with you, this conversation.
I like that honesty.
I was just dialing back to the conversation when you spoke about your 20 self. Because I live with my sons are already in that age bracket. And I realize that some of the decisions and considerations and conversations they're having are conversations that I had at 35, 37. Yeah. So I think if we are speaking also to the younger generation, we're not saying that you cannot be your authentic self or understand things at 20. It's just that I think with time you only get better, but there are some really young, you know, children who are having conversations, and I'm like, you know. So if you do find yourself in a mature relationship, much as you're still younger.
I totally agree with you. You've seen examples of 20-year-old boys who marry their girls and settle.
Yes.
And they are really moving smoothly, and you're like, this 40-year-old has refused to do what a 20-year-old has done.
So true.
I honestly also believe that, people can think bigger, you know, at those ages. But I wanted to deal back about self. Many times when we're choosing a partner, you're now thinking, what does he like so that I do? Very wrong. What does he like? And you're focusing on what he likes. Or he likes to party, let me go with him. You're forgetting about yourself because you're not having a conversation what you like, so that he understands what you like, so that you're not disappointed.
I agree.
I came in here, I love swimming, but he can't let me wear my costumes and go. Tell him straight on, me, I like this, I like partying, because even when you get married, my husband understood that I love to party. Like he's really not.
But he went through a season.
He went through and yes, he allowed it even in that season. Yeah, and I'm like, no, if there's a party, I let you go for your football. You love football? Well, enjoy. I love let me. And because if I would ask on him and he didn't understand what I like, he would continue. Like those are guys who like
going and watching football, guy, you don't like football.
You don't.
And they always do that.
Yeah.
And also as human beings, we are social human beings. If I start touching my eye, slowly by slowly all of you will do that. Yes. So there's a way when you meet someone, and the truth is you tell yourself, I love soccer. The truth is what you love is to spend time with him. So
Bambi, he loved soccer, and I really told him, Bambi, I'm not a soccer person, and I don't know.
I think
I can't lie.
Until you know, if you're too honest, then you might, because we have to speak to the people who are like, there's that one who's like, I had rather, let me be honest, the relationship ends, but at least, you know, maybe I'll end up with the right person. Then there's another one of, there's really no right person. Let me just be in this thing slowly,
we shall,
and, you know.
I think sometimes it's important to bring someone older and wiser into when you're having these conversations, when you started relating or having a relationship with this person, to work with someone else, maybe an older woman or someone who you look up to say, oh, I have started talking to this guy, and these are the things. Sometimes that third eye or third ear will be like, oh, he said this thing. Did you catch that? And you'll be like, no, I didn't, because now for you emotions are high. You need someone to help you hear the things that you should be hearing where your emotions are.
I agree.
Are taking over. Yeah. So I think that's very important.
Married people fear more than anything else conversation about finances and money. So are we ready for that conversation?
Absolutely.
And you know, it's not a romantic conversation. No. It's a nerve-wracking conversation. You've got to admit to that. But it is one of the conversations that if you have before you get married, it's one of the best conversations to ensure a more secure marriage. Both marriage and cohabitation, whatever I call it, or baby daddy or whatever. The first one being, what debt are you bringing into the relationship? Debt is important, debt. And you know, these are conversations that are more hard when you're now older. The 30-year-olds, the 30-year-olds plus. What debt are you bringing back? Where are you, Mabanja? And these are things, again, what's your view on debt? What's your view on debt? So what property? People go out and say, I have land. But that land is encumbered. Someone will go and tell you they are building, they are showing you, but you don't know that that building is a mortgage. So you should be able to ask a question that, oh, by the way, how did this come? A woman comes and sees a building that's going up a structure. She has no idea that it's entirely mortgage, which is okay. Just have those discussions. You just have to have the discussions. Then it's really important to understand. I want to bring in income, but I know this one. Africans are not ready for. But by the time you get married, you guys, you may not know everything. But you need to know, one, the source of his livelihood or her livelihood, and have an average of what it is. And before that income comes, you need to have a conversation about your financial goals. What financial goals are you currently pursuing in your singlehood? Each of you. And then what do you foresee vision? What do you foresee us doing together in the future? What does that look like for you, financial goals? And then when you come into income, it's like, okay, this is about what I can do and what I can't do. And then also have the discussion of joint and separate accounts. What is my money? What is your money? And what is our money? This African thing of only women having their money is problematic. Even men should have their own money. Men should have their own money, women should have their own money, and the family should have its family money. So that's conversations. You have to talk about your financial responsibilities. What are your expectations? Yes. Financial expectations. Financial expectations of the home. What, me as the woman, what do you expect me to cover? Am I paying utility or not to cover? Are you funding us entirely? Are you going to provide 100% like my father did? Or your father maybe did it something a different way, and maybe you cut down right the middle, or maybe 20%. Do you acknowledge that me as a woman, I have so many other responsibilities that maybe you are not willing to do, so you're allowing yourself to take on 80% and I 20, or are you seeing us as equals and we're doing 50-50? Have those conversations. Again, black tax. What is your finance? Because the world is moving, so anything can happen along the way. We want children, yes? How many do we want? How many can we afford? People like to talk about how many, they even name their children, but they don't know the children they can afford. They know the ones they want, they know one will be called Jack and the other Jill. But they don't know if they can afford Jill. Kumbe they can only afford Jack at this time. And then now you think, okay, see, what do we want for Jack and Jill? Are we going to pay for their education abroad? Is that something we need to be saving for right now? What is your family dynamic like? Are you the firstborn? Are your aging parents and cousins and people going to depend on you for our money? Yes. Am I expected to be a partner in that responsibility, or is that for what your money is going to do? One of the more important ones to have is to decide that we are going to have regular conversations about money. Any married person who does not sit down with their spouse, regularly set and scheduled, committed to speak about money, there is a problem. Because
there is going to be a big
because there is going to be a problem. You've chosen to bury your head in the sand. But one time that thing is going to kwabika. And not to say that it will, but prepare for it, just in case it does. So for me, that conversation about finances should not stop it needs to be had. And that one is a real conversation. Much as you can put in a little bit of things, mostly the ones of where worldview, financial upbringing come in, there is that one that you really need to set to have before you decide that, okay, this is the person I'm going to be with. And then also, it has to be an ongoing conversation, even within the home, because things change, things shift, and we should be allowed to, right? So, because what I know for a fact is that a man might be able to, men just don't declare money. And when women do declare money, she'll only declare it the first time. After that, no, you'll never hear about Bump Love Man, you're coming in. You'll never hear about the gig she did the voiceover. You'll never hear about they've promoted her, they've increased her salary. You'll never hear about that money. Right now, if a man came to me and, yeah, we need to have that conversation. Do you have other, and remember after 30, people have other children. Am I expected to contribute to your child? Is that my money or your money or our money? And women especially, when they bring in children in a home, now they expect that the baby, that the person you're with is expected to take on your children that you've come with. That's not necessarily true. It isn't. You are looking after that child regardless of whether you had a baby daddy, a present baby daddy or not. It does not automatically become your new partner's obligation to look after your children. It isn't. So you need to have that conversation before you come crying to us in the bars and the salons and we're at the board of directors seat. And say, that man, can you imagine? He doesn't even do anything for my child. Was he there before? Was he in your picture before? Did you discuss your expectations that he should carry on? Financial conversations, difficult but very important.
When you talk about that, I think it's important that people know their spouses or their intending spouses' financial personality. And I talk about that thing all the time. Are they a spender or are they a saver? Are they an amasa? Like, what exactly are they? What is their view on money? I'm not even thinking about how much debt do they have, because their view on these things will then determine, you understand, whether they are hard workers. Like now me and Brian, we are kawa. Why? Because our view on money is that if you don't work for it, you don't get it. So we are aligned. So when we wake up in the morning, we are working. When I'm out late in the night, I'm working. When we are all aware that now that is the goal. Not even goal. We both believe our personality is that to earn income, you must work. That's how me and Brian know how money works. Somebody has to be working. Someone has to be doing some work. So it doesn't matter that time. It doesn't matter that day. I cannot call Brian. Where are you? What? I'm just like, man, he's working. That's it. That's how we are earning. And remember, that's what he sees as. He has to bring the money home. Even just knowing that we have a difference in personality at that point is so important. Because now at that point we know what to do. At that point we know. Now me as a wife, I take second. I'm there, I'm counting the money, calculating. This when the year comes to an end, how did we save? Is this? We have increased by this amount, this percentage. Okay, I am boiling inside there. Then he says, okay, so you have this one and you do something.
Then you smile a bit.
Then I smile a bit. You understand what I mean? In finances, what is their personality? You know those people who earn money before who spend money before they've earned it. Like, oh no, I have a gig, it's coming. So simu.
Yes.
You are the one they are buying for your present.
Yes.
They're like, no, I have a gig coming. What did you say you wanted for your birthday, darling?
Yeah, get the phone.
Open your eyes. Then you ask him, you're spending money before you've earned it. It's like, that's a given. It's coming. It's definitely coming. So you go and talk to those guys about that dress. Please, open your eyes. All those ones who tell you, no, it's money. Money is simple. It comes and it goes. Be open your
I saw you
and
know
even
their person.
those who are attracted to that kind of life.
Yeah, be open.
If you're a mafias, you're the type who likes those mafias or athletes, be open also to the fact that we won't find, not all men are the Bryans of this world, but whoever you find, at least know his personality.
Yeah, because
Because
I don't
someone
think
would be
there's
saying
any-
that, Chirapka, they are saying we should only end up with, you
No.
know,
I shared, dear viewer, I shared my personal experience, which works for us. For you, you might be the happy person who, when they tell you go and spend the dress, whether you've earned the money or not, you are happy.
But
All
be
I am
honest.
saying, be honest. Know your partner's financial, because we don't want to find you in the DM. Hey guys, my husband made me to go and borrow money to buy a piece of land and buy a piece of land. And now the money didn't come. I have a date.
Now I have to get a loan.
Now I have to get a loan. Should I get a loan?
Please go ahead, child.
For your response. I'll be waiting for anonymous. Keep me anonymous. Friends, know that, and I keep telling people these things. People, your fiance
talking to you in
shows
advance.
you who they are. Ali, they are the ones who go to the shop and tell you, go to the shop there, tell them to the supermarket, tell them to give you some things. I'll pay them.
3 days later.
Thanks.
You get? I don't know if that's what you like. But ultimately, be fully aware. You don't want to wake up and say,
I think there's awareness, and also, for example, you will find a man who spends like that. Then it is the duty of the wife, which a lot of our mothers did. You remove, you put on the side, you get, and then one day you're like, we are going to do this. And usually they are so surprised. They are happy. Where did you get this money? Guy wakes up, gives you about $30,000 US, tells you go with the children. Guy, you get 10K, you put it at mommy's. No, you keep putting aside. You could be that type of woman that God has called you to do like that.
But those are women who know.
They
have to know. Then when you know,
and
you
when
know
you
what
know,
to do
you know
about
your
it.
person is like that.
True.
Come and say, I allowed, I'm not good with finances, it's my wife who takes care.
Thank you. Yeah. There are few, but
There are few, but there are
Can we talk about polygamy?
Mm.
And this
Yes, we
comes
can.
back to worldview. You know, in Uganda, because in Uganda, the Marriage Act recognizes so many different types of marriages. So right now, I think the one that allows the types of marriages that accept polygamy are customary marriages and Islamic marriages right now. I would implore you to have conversations with your husband, with your intended partner, with your partner at the time, about what their view on polygamy is. I have just concluded, you know, I work journeys with people who are going through the divorce. I've just concluded a divorce with somebody whose husband, right smack in the middle, after 3 children, told her that, you know what, the truth of the matter is, I want to have somebody else. I'm seeing someone, and I'm tired of moving around. Yet for me, I've never recognized monogamy. So I asked her, for you, what is your stance on polygamy? And she said, me, I am monogamous. I grew up in a Christian household. I've never even seen it. I don't even have any relative who is, I don't even know what that means. For me, I know one man, one woman, end of discussion. I said, so is this a conversation that you could have? And even he was brought up in a monogamous home. But he's one of those guys, you know, men, when they're talking together in bars and at football matches and whatever, they always have that thing of, Banange, faithfulness is not natural. Monogamy is not natural. They never say it to their partners. If your partner ever says it to you, even abstractly, which is something that had happened to them in conversations, then you didn't listen. She ignored. For her, because she's used to men discussing, every day on a WhatsApp group, a man has to say that monogamy is not natural. But my man has never said it to me. I've never had it said in conversation. So I need to have that conversation with him. What is your view on polygamy? And there are 3 types of polygamy, by the way. There's polygamy of marriage, because now women have, they've conjured you, because customary marriage allows you to add on. But I don't know any woman who wants to be kuzakod, but now they keep you there in Kwanjula, yet he can add on 2, 3, 4. You just say you're married.
To add on.
He's allowed to marry. Then the Islam, but they just don't do. Yeah. Even in Islam, I've had these conversations before with Muslim women who have intentionally set out to marry Christian men because they do not, because of that problem of I don't even want to have that conversation because he's allowed. So even if I have the conversation, he was going to lie to me. Then 5 years, 7 years down the road, and he has kuzakod on me. Now we are not happy. Now what do we do? So you need to literally have that conversation of polygamy and let people should be honest to tell you that for me, I am okay with having somebody else. And the time might come or could come when they may not tell it to you like that, but just listen to the way they speak. And this can go back even to the way they were brought up.
But is there a guy who will come and say,
You listen to them speak. This one never told her to her face, but he used to say those remarks.
That's what I was going to say.
Like, says things like that.
Think you hear a story.
Polygamy is, men should be polygamous. Once you on the show of Kasuku, were you on the same show of ours with Kasuku or you were not? They say it. It's just that they say it in closed spaces. When they can say it in open spaces where they know that you could be an audience, they are talking to you.
Yeah. I don't have statistics, but there is no man who, if he doesn't know that he has locked you down properly, he will go out of his way, and he likes you, he'll go out of his way not to, he's there, say things like that. Based on maybe personal experience of what I have seen, the polygamy conversation is like someone asking if you ever cheated when you're a girl. We are all virgins.
You're my first. If you have a child, you're my second.
But the quickest.
As we have children, you're always our second.
You know, the best way to analyze that particular situation, look at his father, his brothers. I would say friends, but sometimes you find somebody but your relatives, if you see his brother has I
actually dated a guy whose best friend, who escorted his best friend to Kwanjula. He was the second woman.
Yeah.
And for me, that told me what he believed in. Yeah. That was it. And that relationship ended. Because now, and it didn't end there because now I asked, but how can you escort this guy if that is not your belief system? And if he had just told me that, you know what, he's my gango, let them do what he wants. He actually came out and said, but they are not happy in their marriage. Let him get somebody else. And I'm thinking that means when things are going south in ours, it's going to be okay. That was it is the most heated argument I ever had in any relationship in my life. That night, no one slept. And he was polishing shoes for the next day. For the Kwanjula. He polished that he was the best man of the first marriage. Now he's the best man of the second marriage.
And in his defense,
polishing their shoes, we are paroling me. I'm now saying, but how can you even think like that? How can you say this? The relationship ended. Now him, as he was escorting his best man, I was just packing my things. The few clothes that I had there in the house, I was like, oh no, Sibja Musobola. He was speaking to me, but how can you be there? Then you're in the marriage and you say, me, I didn't even see it.
He never told you.
He never even told me.
He did. He did. We just choose not to see. And in his defense, he would say, well, this was my best friend before you guys ever came along. But
I would have taken that. I would have taken that, but for him to defend
it,
what he was doing.
Because what my dad always used to say with us guys, he's like, the problem with whether it's this generation, every generation thinks the next one is not serious, is that we don't have accountability amongst our friends. That in those days, you would be too ashamed to even come to your best friend. You'd rather get somebody else. But if you come to your best friend, already it means that your ideologies and the way you think and your belief system is as if similar, that I would dare to even have such a conversation with you. It's like you have your girlfriends. There's that one who knows you cheat. There's that one who knows you can never. So I think same thing works for for polygamy. The honest truth, the litmus paper, is look at his friends and his family, and Yeah.
That's why you are having this conversation.
The truth
What
is-
happens when I make more money than you do?
Yeah. What do you think about that?
What-
Yeah, you see,
But that's what-
the
that's
thing
what we
with
are-
growth, the thing with growth is that some of these things, like the same way I will stand here on a pedestal and say, if my man ever cheated on me, I'll run away. Sometimes you just don't know how you will react until something actually happens. Because the general notion is that one, men will encourage you to be successful. Just never bypass him.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That one?
That's
You see, when short men who marry tall women, they know somewhere else they surpass.
you know, for lack of a better word, you can call back on that conversation and say, guess what, Han? I'm going to sign this. I'm going to be CEO. And I'm going to earn this amount. And I remember the conversation we had. And you said that I should stay the same. I'm going to sign tomorrow, but help me to stay the same. Help me to stay. Remind me, because you've had that conversation. And remember, and I feel like also in this, when we're having these conversations, we're not talking about bad-mannered people.
Yeah, we're not
because
talking about
because
bad-mannered people.
the truth is you can have all these conversations, but if the person is bad-mannered, that is it. The person is bad-mannered. I also wanted to say something about the fact that things change, situations change, and no one has taught me that better more than my husband.
Things change.
Brian's dream car changes according to the weather. When it's raining, the dream car must be able to go in potholes. What? But when we're on the Entebbe road, open roof, load car, wind going through our hair. And I think that it's important for us to note that even when you've had these conversations before, one, you've not gone through the experiences, but even if you go through the experiences, certain things about life can change your worldview. And so while you're having these conversations, I think also one important conversation to have is, how do I know you've changed your view on finances? You who used to be a spender, how do I know that now you are? How do I know that now you're? At what point? And which brings us back to the conversation of having that regular conversation with each other. And that's why it's important to date as couples. That's true. Not because you love each other so much or that you are feeling that love, but to check in. Where are we now since we last talked? Where are we on children? Where are we on education? Where are we on finances? Where are we on our goals? Where are we on our vision? As between last week and this week, where do we stand? I'm still in the same place. In your chameze, you are still strong. We're strong. Let's go. Last week, this one died without a will. And when he died, all his property was taken by relatives. I think that now I want to start being an investor only in money markets. Hey, okay, let's talk, because life is going to change. Yeah, life is dynamic.
And we should be as well.
Can I just say one last thing as we wrap up? I feel like, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but largely, the woman is the one who is going to follow up on all of these things. So don't sit there and wait for your man to say, can we have a conversation?
Financial goals. You just got it out of my mouth. And if anything, let us understand that the word conversation does not necessarily mean conversating. Words. As the marriage carries on, even as the actions are going to speak way more. So if you're seated waiting for him to tell you that he's now decided to invest in a completely
only money market,
you will kind of either see receipts or the way he spends.
And then pick it up, initiate the conversation.
True.
And men, be better. When she's talking to you, be better, Mr. Mlondo. Men, talk to your friends, Mr. Mlondo, when you're there. Where men are having conversations. Please, tell them to be better. I think that many times like people. I feel that many times when women want to start to have conversations, which are good,
Yeah.
Yeah, again, we're not talking about those nonsensical women who are, no, we're hoping that you made the right choice. Remember that where we started from, is this the right partner? And they were the right partner because we don't want you to reach in a marriage and you said they were wrong. No. You got the right partner, it was the right time. All of that was, you ticked. That's the woman we are now talking about. Yeah. She's not against you. It is for us.
She's for you.
Yeah, it is for us. So us as women, for us to live this, to open, to realize that we are on the same side of the ring and everything else is the other side, is either against or for us. And to realize that we walk as a team. I have a friend who says these days that whenever her husband tells her something, she says, of course, but we are a team. Of course. So that's, of course. But of course, we are a team. I think we should take the children to this school, but of course, we are a team. So that he does not forget the fact that it's them against the world.
I really like that. I love it. And I'll just tell you briefly about my husband. He loves conversations about
he's one of
money and about everything. We talk about everything. And that's just a reminder.
Yes, he's one of those men.
He's one of those men. So when you said have regular conversations about not just money, everything. Because the truth is every year we evolve. What his dream was last year is changed. In fact, I remember like there are things I tell him, like, but you said this. It's like, come on.
When did I say that?
So I agree when you say the women, you pick it up. Like he will not wake up and tell you, oh, by the way, I had said this. They've already forgotten. They're on other things. So and I agree, Manuela. The men, please listen to your wives. They just want to have conversations with you. They are team. Don't fight them. They are team. Your teamwork. And I guess you had us speak. Do let us know in the comment section what the conversations are you're having before you choose your partner, or what you're thinking on having before you choose your next partner. And that's it from us, with love from Bump Lab.
Bump Lab was brought to you by
Unlimited internet at unbeatable prices. Dial *125# to activate your monthly unlimited internet. Airtel, a reason to imagine.